Did you know that in 1933, the federal government used a banking crisis to systematically eliminate black-owned banks across America? When FDR declared a national banking holiday, every bank in the country closed. Federal inspectors were given complete power to decide which banks could reopen. The pattern was clear. St. Luke Penny Savings Bank in Richmond, founded by Maggie Walker, financially sound. The inspectors called it risky, closed permanently. Binga State Bank in Chicago, profitable. Strong reserves, also deemed risky, also closed. Meanwhile, failing white banks with actual losses were approved to reopen. This wasn't random. Federal inspectors had discretionary power. They used it consistently. Black banks that served black communities were eliminated. White banks that excluded black customers were saved. The assets from closed black banks were sold to white institutions at below market rates. A direct wealth transfer. This concentrated banking power away from black communities. It eliminated black business lending. It created the banking deserts that exist today. One policy, systematic implementation, generational consequences. The pattern reveals itself. Did you know that in
All right, Shalom. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Much as like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Now, this is stuff like this is very important to understand the history. All right, to understand the history of so-called Black Americans today. All right. Now, did this happen in the Caribbean islands? Absolutely. Why? Because unbeknownst to these people, which the people that I'm talking about is Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the biblical Israelites. These events that took place wasn't for us to prosper. It wasn't designed for us to prosper. This was not a place for us to make it, so to speak. There's a thing in the scriptures that, be realistic. People might not accept it. That's on them. That's their fucking problem. But there's a curse that's upon Israel. All right. And that curse was a clear-cut sign of the people. Technically, I'm going to say, I'm not going to slip on my tongue. Technically, the curse is a blessing on Israel. And what do I mean by that? How can a curse be a blessing? Because it significantly shows who are the people of the Lord. That's what makes it so very important to understand. Real quick, Romans 8:16. It says, the Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. So when you really, really think about this, what does that entail? What does that mean? Now, I'm an individual. Sometimes I repeat the same thing because, let's be frank, we hard-headed individuals. We don't, certain things you do, you got to be repetitive. And that's how we learn. It says in Job 33:15, the Lord spoke once, he spoke twice, yet man could not perceive. Well, guess what? This is the reason why things are repeated over and over again. So we could lay in our thick skulls what the message is. And the message is quite simple. The Spirit that beareth witness is the Holy Spirit. Okay? This is how we can boldly go out there and say, we are the Lord's chosen people. And it's not man that gives us the green light to say, oh, you guys are correct or you guys are incorrect. It's the Holy Spirit. So when we say the things that we say things by faith. All right? By faith of what? Of the Lord. Okay, this thing of ours is a faith-based thing. All right? We can't see what's on the other world, so to speak. And the majority of people don't even believe in the afterlife or anything beyond the realms of men. Okay. Matter of fact, I believe it's no, it's a second. Let me get this real quick. Second Corinthians 4, the last verse. Well, we look not at the things which are seen, but all the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So when the Lord made an agreement with our forefathers in the wilderness, that was not just a story you just tell a child to go to sleep. That really happened. All right. That those things really occurred. And part of those things being occurred when you go into it, matter of fact, I have it queued up. Deuteronomy 28 and 44. It says, he shall, okay, no, sorry, 43. This is part of the list of the curses. The focal point is what the video I just showed. All right. When Jake was actually doing good. How many black people, sorry. How many minority with black, what you want to call them, African American people, own their own town, location that was not given to them by the government? All right. A lot of us grew up repping different hoods like it was our own just because we lived there. That we didn't have it. But there was a time where here in the States, people owned towns, not owned towns, but lived in a certain area and they prospered. That's no longer a thing. Why is not no longer a thing? Because Esau shut that shit down. He flooded many towns. Okay. The islands. When you have a nation that took their own independence and was doing fine, but yet they had to pay the oppressors, the people that oppressed them, they had to pay them back for their losses. That's hustling backwards, so to speak. Now, some people may see that about the history, like, why would they do that? I'm talking about Haiti. Why would they do such a thing like that to themselves? It's not that they did it to themselves. They were the only ones that was able to fight back, but they had to pay back because they would be in constant war with people that was being more advanced. We're fighting people on their blessing, which their blessing is a curse. So our curse is as a blessing to indicate who we are. Esau's blessing is a curse because it's what's going to end him. So we still win. And the Lord said, "What Esau is the end of the world; Jacob's the beginning of it that followeth." Right? The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And the Lord said, "What those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken it." The Lord said, "The meek shall inherit the earth. He shall lift up the lonely." Okay, all these scriptures wasn't there just to look cute. You know, these church people don't quite grasp it. We had to be in a certain certain predicament of loss. No army for ourselves. No way to defense. Um, the talk of the town. Everybody got something bad about to say against us. All right. Oh, 41. It says, "Thou shalt begotten sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, but they shall go into captivity." And that exactly happened. Happened during slavery. It happened after slavery. It happens during they would call it the legal way, when the ACS will come and take your children from you, and you have no power in your hand. You got to go to the court and so forth, and you don't know what happened to your children. They created programs, boys and girls clubs, and all these different things, just because they come from broken homes, and just because the parents that they come from the broken homes, they were broken before. All right, people that was in dope, So that curse still to this day hits us. Now I'm gonna jump to 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Sounds familiar? He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. So you want to know why you can't prosper? Why it's like a ton of excuses. I was watching. Who was it? That's that Muslim dude, Rizm or something like that. And he was in a room for the dark skinned people, right? So-called black people. And he's like, yeah, y'all guys know who the real ones are. He mentioned Hebrew Israelites and everything like that. And basically the whole concept is the whole prosperity doctrine. The whole, you guys got to get serious and try to get yourself out of a situation, not realizing the situation that we are in it, which is dire. Okay. But this is what solidifies us as the children of the Lord. We was going to have to go to our enemies for everything, not the other way around. He said, he shall be the head and thou shall be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee. That's what you call a generational curse. The trauma. There's certain attributes that every last one of us got it from our fathers, and so forth. All right? Because there's a curse that was going to be on us. It says, until thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not into the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he have commanded thee. And there shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. The Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. It's not because we was going to be prosperous. But when you read that whole chapter, it was speaking of the faith of an individual that was not prospering in this world. And their whole reliance is on hope alone. When you have it all, you don't need to hope for nothing. And that same chapter says it. Okay? That same chapter says it. So, and it tells you, Paul, when he wrote it, he said what? There's nothing that's going to nothing should come between us and Yahweh Shai, which the world ignorant called Jesus. Okay? And then he listed all the things, not the prosperity things, all the things of distress, tribulation, and so forth, what the world considered to be negative, as a thing, as a sign showing that the individuals of the Lord, this is what they will be going through. All right. They're not going to get up and say, oh, I want to go to my vacation house, spend the whole entire winter there, my winter house. Then we'll go to my spring house. I don't have to work because all the stocks are going. None of that. We was going to be in a bad position throughout everything that we was going to go through. It says, for one that upon thy seed forever, and the seed grows up. The seed grows up. It says, because thou serve not the Lord thy power with joyfulness, with gladness of the heart, for the abundance of all things. And therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, and in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness, and the want of all things, meaning literally of all things. You need a loan? There's no, right? We just saw it. There's no blank owned banks no more. You got to go to them. You got to go to them for everything.
And Did you know that in 1930?
And when you think you're doing good, they change the goalposts. They completely change the goalposts. All right. You may have A1 credit. They change the goalposts. You may go to school. They change the goalposts. All right. And what I mean by the goalposts, when you take a lifetime to achieve these things, what do? They say, nope, you need more qualifications. All right. Oh, when a company goes bad, they file for bankruptcy. Who who do they pay? Oh, they pay the executives that got the place in bankruptcy. So they get bailed out. They get paid more, and their excuse is, well, they've been in that position. Think of the logic. You failed at the you failed at the business. You ruined the business, but yet you get a promotion or bonuses because your experience in the field that you failed in. Can't make this shit up. All, all it is, because this is not our world. All right, this is not our world. So that's why these devils they prosper, because they made this shit for themselves. So when you see these people crying about the things are going wrong, that's your fault. That got nothing to do with us. You know, shit. How many things is this made for you? I'm talking about you Edomites, you so-called white people. Everything is made for you. When they was crying about DEI hires and this, that, to the third, logically, y'all don't want to have prosperous. Y'all prospered from these DEIs, hiring and so forth. From business, corporations, whatever field you prosper, because it's mostly you. Everything is you. All right. Okay, a handful of individuals compared to a majority of people. It says Baruch 3:8. Behold, we are yet in this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach, a curse, to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. So we're subject to payments. So the curses, once again, are the indicator. And some people, they might say, oh, well, that's not talking about all of you guys. Some of you guys, this and that. No, it's all of us. Hey, this same Deuteronomy 28 chapter tells you that even your king is going to go into captivity. It says, Daniel 9:11, yet all Israel have transgressed. So right then and there, shut the door, close the book, end the story. All right, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, from the smallest to the greatest, from the most wickedest to the most righteous, we all transgress the law of the Most High. In other words, we're all guilty. What the difference is, we have Yahweh Shai. That's why Yahweh Shai said to the Pharisees, Sadducees, that without him they won't live. All right, because if you break one law, you're guilty of all. So it says, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that was written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. So they say a handful of righteous men over there, all of us. All right, and I gotta express it, because when there's a flip side, when there's the other people, when it's their time to be punished, it's not gonna be, oh, this Edomite right here, he taught this man how to ride a bike, or he taught this man how to read. He was part of the abolition group. No. All of y'all is going to captivity. The same way all of us went in captivity. The Lord told Jeremiah himself, even died, thyself shall be discontinued from thy heritage. All right, and shall serve thy enemies. So that's a prophet. That's a man of the Lord. That's the Lord's main man. He even had to go into captivity. So if the king of Israel had to go in captivity, the prophets, the ones that go out in the highways and byways, had to do that. And that means all of us, every last one of the descendants to this day, are suffering for what our foreparents, from the curses that our foreparents had to have broken the law. And we're guilty of breaking the law because, well, we was ignorant. All right. It says, he have confirmed his words, which he has spake against us and against our judges that judge us. So it shows you right there. Bam. Covers everybody. By bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven have not been done as been done upon Jerusalem. So from the transatlantic slave trade, all sorts of demonic activity that Esau was conducted on us, the worst possible outcome, they used to feed on our flesh, wear our skin as put our skin as belt, take our hair, put in their couches, have and there's everybody's starting to see, read, find out. All right, all the filth that has been done on the nation of Israel. All right, the Native Americans, when um, when I'm gonna say Christopher Columbus got into the Dominic, what they call it, what was called Hispaniola, which was Haiti and Dominican Republic. They'll see women that were pregnant, tie their feet up, tie them on a rope, cut their stomach. When the baby come down, bust, chop the baby's head, step on the baby's head, feed the baby to dogs. All right, this is what they would do. They ain't do this to no other people in captivity. All right, cattle slavery, how it was done onto the. They didn't do that to no other people. That's the confirmation. That's the seal of approval. So when a Jake, short for Israel, says, "Oh, we gotta get our own banks. We gotta make our own this and that," they're obviously fools, because no matter what you do, however you do it, you still got to go to your enemy for everything. When those mother effers is trying to make their own record company, they didn't make their own record company. That was all a facade. All right, that was all a facade. They still was under parenting companies that was over them. Interscope had an interest in Death Row. Okay, Uptown, which was part of, I believe, CBS, they owned Bad Boys. All right, forgot who owned Def Jam. So you have parent companies, you got smaller companies. No matter what they try to do, no matter what you try to achieve with Dolo, you still got to go to these people for everything. Because why? We was not meant to be prosperous over here. It was meant to be serving captivity. Okay, but once again, our time is up. Micah 2:10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it's polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." So with that being said, shalom to the elect, the nation of Israel. Shalom.